Hi everyone. Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks since we had the whole team here for the AMA. Today I'll be alone to answer the community questions as best as I can, and in between maybe give a bit of an overview of what you can expect in the next few months. So let's get into it. Sure. First, some of the questions that our team has collected from the community prior to the AMA. What's the reasoning behind the blackout of PARSIQ's name from the IQ Protocol announcements? Seems a missed opportunity for marketing. Well, it's important to know that PARSIQ and IQ Protocol, while deeply connected, are still separate projects, and each with their own branding and their own use cases and their own target audience. And but you can still see that PARSIQ retweets a lot of these IQ Protocol announcements, and vice versa. And you can see a "Powered by PARSIQ" button on the IQ Protocol website. So I don't think it's a missed opportunity for marketing. It's just not necessary to put. If you even look at some of the publications and blog posts and media articles that are out there on different media publications, it's often referred to as PARSIQ's IQ protocol. So I think we are covering PARSIQ quite a lot on the IQ protocol content. Why has APY fallen so sharply? Well, part of the reason is because of the liquidity pool. The more liquidity is staked in the pool, the less of fees there are to go around. So it's sort of like a little bit an issue that we never expected, that we'll have like over 40% of the circulating supply will be staked so fast. So that's the reason for the low APY. Another reason is that APY is front loaded. So most of the rewards are streamed at the start and less after that. But I can tell you, with the steady stream of new users and clients, APY should be going up within this and next month for sure. How much? It's difficult to say. Again, it depends on how many people stake or remove their holdings from the liquidity pool. Because if the liquidity drops, there's more rewards to go around. If liquidity increases, APY will drop again. But the rental fees are going up steadily. Will be going up steadily in this month and the next one. Am I correct in thinking that if the multi-chain bridge suffered a similar exploit as Wormhole did, the governance feature ensures stolen PRQ would be useless to any hacker? Yeah, so we have the governance features which allow us to mitigate such situations, and that's part of the reason why migrating to BSC took us a long time, not just like a couple of days, because we had to implement smart contracts on the BSC side to have this feature. So yeah, we have an opportunity to mitigate these kinds of risks for bridging PRQ. Theoretically, could a hacker mint PRQ on the Binance Smart Chain via multichain.org? Well, the problem with the Wormhole was that the Wormhole smart contracts on the Solana end were compromised. So they were exploited, some bugs were found. And is it possible something like this would happen on the Binance Smart Chain of multi-chains bridge? Theoretically, yes, it is possible. Unlikely. I mean, multi-chain has been audited many times, and EVM compatible chain smart contracts on BSC and ETH are generally Well, it's easier to make them foolproof than maybe on Solana. But again, if such a thing happens, we have the governance features to fall back upon both sides, on ETH and BSC. What can we expect out of the OpenSea integration? So the OpenSea integration was on the PARSIQ side. So we allow PARSIQ users to monitor different types of events on OpenSea related to NFTs, and we have users actually utilizing this. So we will be looking to expand this for it to have more functionality, and we have some NFT tracking, NFT analytics solutions, NFT dashboards who want to use our OpenSea integration. So it has a solid amount of traction. Hopefully, we'll see more adoption in the near future. Can we expect OpenSea to leverage IQ Protocol for NFT renting? We haven't spoken to OpenSea about this. I mean, OpenSea as the largest player will be probably won't be fast and won't be easy to get them to integrate IQ Protocol on their side, especially at a point where the NFT rental functionality is not live and not audited yet. But we are targeting NFT marketplaces, relatively large ones. Not OpenSea yet, but we will get there. We'll start by integrating the rental functionality powered by IQ Protocol on a few, let's say, mid-tier NFT marketplaces and work our way up to talking to OpenSea when we have something to show. We can show that these marketplaces already integrated, it is being used, it has traction, it's working well. Then we have a higher chance of OpenSea saying yes and actually doing the integration on their side. What is the biggest development you expect to push this year? Well, for this year, we have quite a lot happening. So on the product end, the roadmap is pretty much being designed. We confirmed it here in Estonia, in Tallinn, when the whole team was here 2 weeks ago. And we are just finalizing the timeline and the approximate due dates and designing it, putting it on the website, so on and so forth. So there'll be a bunch of new stuff there, but I guess I can shed some light on which direction we're going for. So first of all, we really want to make PARSIQ a one-stop shop for all blockchain data, like every kind of use case, whether it's real-time triggers, whether it's retrospective triggers that can allow you to go back in time, collect the data, run computations on it, run analytics on it, or even like historical data APIs as well. So we want to have everything, and we're pretty close to it. Then this PARSIQ can be used, and we already have a number of crypto analytics platforms, pretty popular ones, who want to use it as their infrastructure. Because right now they're using like 5, 6 different solutions, like either Scan API, BSC Scan API, other tools to pull different things from different places. And there's issues with throughput, with scalability, with time, and they will be able to get everything from one place with minimum friction. And in terms of pulling historical data, we've come up with a way to get data from the last, for example, 1 million blocks in seconds rather than hours, like most of our competitors do. So I think this will be a pretty big hit. Like on top of that, we can build some analytics functionality as well. But step one is to get analytics platforms to use PARSIQ as their infrastructure for all blockchain data, all chains, historical data, real-time data, everything. That's the goal. We obviously we're going to continue the B2B direction. We have exchanges, government, law enforcement agencies, different types of DeFi protocols testing out, launch pads, quite a lot of traction. Like I said, the issue has been that a lot want some kind of custom integrations or customizations or some kind of small feature gaps that we need to fill. And what I just talked about is going to fill that gap, and we will be able to onboard all of them as full-fledged clients. So B2B, big focus, both crypto native, non-crypto native. But in addition, we'll be announcing a new sub product, let's say, or built on the PARSIQ platform, which will be more retail facing, and it involves a PARSIQ mobile app. So hopefully this will create the network effects that we need to get the retail users interested in using PARSIQ and know about PARSIQ. Yeah, so some other things, but you will see all of them once the roadmap is out. Retrospective triggers, yes, they're pretty much ready. So, like I said, we had a issue that it's an issue that the blocks. If someone wants to monitor a million blocks or more, or the whole history of a trading pair on a DEX, it it takes hours, an hour, maybe more. And most other solutions have the same thing. We figured out how to do this in seconds. So before rolling out, we wanted to finalize it. So we're pretty close to launch. IQ Protocol is currently collecting less than $100 in daily fees. So no, that's not the extent of the revenue stream. But you have to understand that some clients, they pay up front for a certain time period, so it gets front loaded, and some period has less fees. So now that new ones are coming in and some of the subscription time is expiring on the old ones, new fees will be coming in February, March, so there will be a significant spike. It's not linearly distributed, not the revenue nor the staking rewards. You have mentioned that 2022 is expected to be the year of growth. Can you share your goals regarding customer acquisition, expected revenue, or any other metric that reflects the expected growth? Yeah, well, there's a lot of things here. We have revenue KPIs, we have number of users KPIs, we have developer KPIs that we want to onboard developers, and we will be coming up with a completely new pricing model as well. I feel the current subscription tiers don't work as well as they should. Definitely, the goal for this year is to go well into the seven figures in terms of revenue. With that being said, there's a trend here in crypto that some things are free. So and that attracts a lot of people. You actually operate at a loss to get the necessary amount of usage, and then you can upsell those people using other features, other types of strategies. So this is something we're also thinking about to enable more network effects and more adoption, to give out more free usage for certain features, maybe not for everything, just to get a snowball effect going. In terms of number of users, we have KPIs on number of developers who we want to attract. We want them to actually build applications using the PARSIQ infrastructure. We will be doing a grant program to subsidize some of these projects who will be building on PARSIQ or using PARSIQ technology. We will be doing small investments into these projects as well to align the incentives and be supporting them in other ways. So we want PARSIQ to be a platform where others can build backends for their dApps, their apps, any kind of products and such. So this is the kind of adoption that I feel would really facilitate greater network effects. I think I can pull in Ronkai for the next AMA, and we can go over the 2022 some of the KPIs at least in numbers. When do you expect people to be able to rent on IQ by paying in stable coins? Yeah, DEX functionality will be built in by the time the NFT renting version goes live. So it will work the same way for both the fungible token version and the NFT version. So people will be able to pay in stables or other digital assets, and it will be converted into PRQ through a DEX. What will you be seeing from the PARSIQ team at ETHDenver? We are doing developer workshops there because, as I said, developers are a big focus in 2022. We're running a hackathon there with some of the really other quite big projects who are doing hackathons there. So we hopefully will see an even better result than from the Gitcoin hackathon. We'll be doing side events there, so we're quite involved. A lot of people are coming, and it's a great way to showcase our technology to developers, to enterprises, and get some developers on board to build. Is there any news you can share with us about the IQ NFT platform? So you mean the NFT Rental Marketplace for IQ Protocol? Yeah, well, it's coming along nicely. Should be ready soon, then given in audit. So hopefully in March we can see it go live on mainnet. We have a enormous pipeline, of games, creator platforms, NFT marketplaces. Now we're talking to like celebrity NFT projects, fan token projects, all kinds of these interesting non-fungible token use cases with utility. So I'm really happy about this. I think we have already announced like a couple of dozen, maybe over a dozen projects for IQ, but the pipeline it's barely 10% of who we have. So really happy with the traction. It's gonna be great. We're gonna be onboarding them one by one, and we have major features for the IQ rental marketplace that I won't be talking about on this AMA, but it's going to be stuff that no one has ever done. I mean, the ideas that our team has come up with and are researching and building, it can be really huge. Yeah, I'm afraid I can't share much more, but it's going to be much more than just the rentals. It will be a full-fledged NFT marketplace with different functionalities, and it will all be based around the core of like these wrapped expirable derivatives and NFT staking. But the functionality eventually will be, yeah, I'm pretty convinced it will be huge. How are reverse triggers looking? Late last year, you mentioned some exciting ideas using Ncase tech. Yeah, well, the full-fledged version is still not ready. We've built something like a proof of concept, like a reverse trigger, with some limitations for specific use cases, like DEX arbitrage. So we felt that having the full data platform first with historical APIs, retrospective triggers, developer SDK, developer hub is more of a priority than doing full reverse triggers. So you'll see more on the roadmap where it fits in the big picture. How much does Mysterium pay to use the IQ protocol? Well, IQ protocol is open source, so they don't have to pay to use the protocol. What is the schedule for IQT launch looking like? Do you think it's coming in Q1 or Q2? Yeah, it's a good question. It's gonna be either end of Q1 or first half of Q2. It depends on a lot of factors. We have some investors and advisors who have differing opinions on when to launch. Uh, Partly because of market conditions, but personally, I don't think this is that much of an issue. Because if a project is has the tech, has the users, and delivers value, then things will fall into place by themselves, regardless of market conditions. But we are not in a huge rush because we want to be able to integrate more projects, more renting pools, deliver the NFT version, get users, show as much traction and momentum as possible before launching. Do you see the marketplace for public smart triggers launch this year? Yes, for sure. I mean, we're gonna do like a marketplace. It's pretty much coming soon of smart triggers that the PARSIQ team has pre-built, and only after that we'll open it for others to deploy on the marketplace. What are you most excited about for PARSIQ and also for IQ? Well, I'm excited for a lot of things. Obviously, all the tech and functionality that we're building is pretty exciting to me. Maybe not to everyone, but I think some of the things we're doing with IQ, no one else is doing. It's a pretty much industry first. With PARSIQ, we're doing some things that I don't think anyone is doing, some things that others are doing, but we are either doing it in a different way or better or faster. So I'm pretty excited with what our tech can bring to the market. And of course, the most excitement I get is from all those projects who could solve their problems using our products. And if we can fully onboard even half of those that we're talking to, it's going to be a great year. Are there plans to attend other events as well in this year, such as the Solana event last year? Or do you need to do so? As you said, PARSIQ is already being recognized by big players. Well, regardless if it's being recognized, we need to stay in the picture. That's quite important. And we are doing events. We don't want to just do all events or any events. We will handpick the good ones, the big ones, where the most industry players will attend. And we're certainly looking at we're doing ETHDenver. That's going to be the first. And closer to like April, we're going to do ETH Amsterdam, ETH Barcelona, a few others that are popping up. Maybe even an NFT event. So yeah, for sure, we will have a presence in both virtual and in-person events. Looks like PRQ is abandoned since the start of IQ. No, it actually hasn't been. It hasn't been at all. So they're completely separate teams working on this. We are not spending PARSIQ resource for IQ Protocol or vice versa. Both teams are growing on their own, have their own now structure and dedicated management. So it's you know the fact that something is happening at IQ Protocol, it doesn't take anything away from PARSIQ. We're still full speed ahead, and so far it's looking good. So it's I think it's just it it may seem, but it's not. It's not even close to this. So in fact, most budget, most people, most resource is directed at PARSIQ, far more than IQ right now. How much of the NFT rental would you expect to go into PRQ buybacks or renting? Does the NFT marketplace benefit PRQ stakers? So we have this idea. It's still conceptual. So number one, some of these games and NFT projects who will be integrating IQ Protocol and deploying renting pools on IQ Protocol will want to use PARSIQ because it just makes their life easier to monitor these IQ wrapped assets and get event data about them expiring and so on and so forth. So what if some of them do not want to pay for PARSIQ services? For this, we have it's still on conceptual level, but we have an idea how, for example, the protocol could take a small cut from the NFT rental fees, and part of that would be converted into PRQ and streamed as rental fees to the PRQ pool to PRQ stakers, which would pretty much cover, that would allow us to give us the monitoring for free to some of these games, but still have revenue for the stakers and market participants. So we'll definitely come up with something that would align the interests and bring revenue to PARSIQ from the NFT rental marketplace. Is there still a plan to release a usage report or even a live statistic so we can see how many people are using PARSIQ for what purpose? We will do a summary of statistics of usage, which will include like number of users, number of triggers. We can even segment it by which blockchains are being monitored, which transports are being used, who is getting their data, so how many people are getting their data into Telegram. But the purpose is a bit trickier because we don't always know the purpose of some of these users, and it would be kind of an invasion of privacy to dive deep into their triggers. So I don't think we can publish anything on the purpose, but summary of statistics like which chains are being monitored, how many triggers on each chain, how many events delivered, so on. This we can do for sure. When FTX, not commenting on FTX, but I think I've mentioned in the Telegram group that some exchange listings are looking close to reality right now. These are not like the biggest exchanges that obviously most people are waiting for, but they are quite big ones, and both of them have been community has asked for those exchanges specifically numerous times. So we are in talks with them. It's looking good. So hoping to get on those two exchanges in the coming months, while working at the same time on the big boys. Who's the guy behind you? That's Anatoly, and usually everyone loves Anatoly. We will be doing a 3-4 hour Anatoly session, educational session in March. So date is to be announced. What happened to Ncase? Ncase has been pushed in the priority list in favor of what we felt is more important. Uh, but we will definitely shift focus back to it at some point this year. Hey Tom, what is your personal view on the current BTC ETH price? Do you see a long bearish period ahead, or do you think the market will recover? I I don't think we'll see a major bearish period. The market is completely different. Those expecting like a 2018 to 2020 bear market are they're not getting one. We have too much capital in the space, too many people in the space, too much adoption, too many projects building legitimate products that are being used. It just won't happen. The worst I can imagine is sort of a sideways, like we bounce between 30 and 40k for months until it reverses, and same for ETH, like between 2 and 5k. That's my personal view on it. No one really knows. At least that's my experience. I've spoken to hedge funds, quants, VCs, everyone. Yeah, I think a lot of the current downtrend is based on the macro environment with the rate hikes, with the inflation, with the Federal Reserve turning hawkish, and so on and so forth. So once that passes, and it will pass, we're going to see an uptrend. That's for sure. So I think we're much closer to the bottom, than we are to the top. So there can be black swan events where like BTC goes even further down for a short while, and in my opinion, those are all buying opportunities because fundamentally everything is super bullish. If you think about the legislation in different countries, all the bills that are proposed to make Bitcoin legal tender, taxation, usage. I'm super bullish, but I think long term. So it can be bad for a number of months, but eventually, it's up only season will resume. Are there many projects that are waiting for additional functionality from the PARSIQ platform before being integrated? Yeah, quite a few actually, and really serious projects. So that's why this is priority number one, to get these things ready for them, to onboard them, and from all over the place, centralized exchanges, launch pads, DeFi platforms, yeah, some traditional players as well. So this is focus number one. The wormhole exploit has captured a lot of market attention. Have you considered exploring hack mitigation again as a form of exposure for PARSIQ? In the past, it's been very positive. The problem with this is that it takes, for a short while, for a couple of weeks, a lot of time and resource from the engineering department. And effectively, a lot of development works stop. And it's not an issue, it's yeah, we need to be focused on delivering the products. However, if we actually when we actually release all this functionality on the PARSIQ platform, which is pretty soon, then we could have these hack mitigation templates on the marketplace, like pre-built set of solutions that projects can use to take snapshots of holders, calculate losses. We can even make a step-by-step guide, so it would become like a self-service platform where projects who have been hacked or face this situation, like Paid and Bondly and others have been, they can go to the platform and use the existing technology along with the documentation to solve the problems that we used to solve for these projects. What projects do you think have the most interesting usage of PARSIQ? Yeah, well, that's a good question. I mean, there are all kinds of use cases, which is a kind of a challenge of ours because when we talk to a team, it's difficult to understand at the beginning what they need because PARSIQ can do 100 different things, solve 100 use cases and problems. So a lot of work goes into understanding their project, problems and pain points, and then proposing something, that how PARSIQ can solve them. So it's been a big issue. I've seen use cases from like all over the place, like monitoring smart contracts of other projects to see if someone is minting tokens or burning tokens or transferring governance and things like these for risk mitigation. I've seen like internal workflow use cases, trading use cases, notification use cases. It's I don't have a personal favorite, but again, we're discovering new ones all the time. So how's IQ Protocol on ETH and Solana going? Yeah, Solana, we started work on Solana. It's going pretty well. We have a new developer who is leading the Solana development of IQ. So far, so good. So far, so good. Regarding ETH, so once we're finished with the upgrades, IQ can be deployed on any EVM compatible chain. That means whatever Avalanche, Arbitrum, app, and the ETH itself, of course. But does it make sense to deploy an ETH considering that? Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, all the gaming, it's not on ETH. Stakers who have small stacks, they will get all the rewards eaten up by their fees. So I'd rather deploy on more ETH layer 2s and alternative layer 1s rather than ETH itself. Can you speak on if there are many projects waiting on the sidelines for the blockchain they are operating to be supported by IQ? Many of the top projects aren't on BSC or Polygon. Yeah, mostly Solana. Mostly Solana because there are a lot of projects on Solana, especially games for NFT rentals. Yeah, it's our pipeline is pretty Solana heavy, so that's a yes. There are some others being requested. Some of them are EVM compatible. That means we'll do them, and some of them are not. For example, is some games are on Immutable X, which is a layer 2 scaling solution, but it's not EVM compatible. It is specifically made for NFTs and gaming. So hopefully we'll get around to integrating with them as well. It was hinted a while back that there might be an IQ Launchpad. Yeah, well, there is a concept for an IQ Launchpad. And like I said, there are many concepts for the IQ ecosystem. So it can evolve into a pretty huge, yeah, uh, pretty huge ecosystem. I think it's too early to talk about these concepts yet. So we will take it step by step. First, NFT rentals, IQ on Solana, IQ on other chains, get a bunch of projects integrated, and then we'll reveal a more expanded roadmap with some things that I'm pretty sure no one has ever done in this space. How's the blockchain integration going? Yep. Well, one chain is pretty much integrated. It's a big one. It has adoption. it's a really so keep your eyes peeled for the next announcement. I'm not saying when it will come. So, do you think these Solana gaming projects will provide much usage for PARSIQ? A lot of the uses I've heard seem to have high monitoring requirements. Yes, I do think so, because a lot of these games, they will benefit from PARSIQ monitoring hugely. And getting data from Solana has been a major pain point for all Solana projects in general. So, not gonna lie, we have slight issues with the Solana integration. So we've ordered more hardware. We're gonna make it really good, and I think this will be a major market opportunity. Would there be a collaboration with Kadena on using their bridge as an alternative to ETH bridge concerning fees? I, I love Kadena, but we work in this way that we get requests from users, from clients, from projects, which chains they need. And because this means those chains have adoption, they have people building on them a lot. And those chains get a higher priority. But eventually we'll get around to working with KDA. Any plans for PARSIQ to support Andromeda? Yep. Yes, there are. Uh, so I think to sum it up, what I've said, we have the product roadmap coming up. We the product roadmap involves building a full-fledged one-stop shop for all blockchain data. Um, it will be a set of tools that no one is providing as a single package, and a lot of it will work differently and faster than any competition. We have clients in line waiting for this, so this is a big focus. Then continue onboarding customers B2B. After that, we'll have some retail facing use cases and a PARSIQ application, mobile application, which will help with retail adoption and network effects. Continue focus on developers with building out the developer SDK, being involved in hackathons like ETHDenver and similar. And second half of next year, we will host our own hackathon and invite other projects, big projects, to participate. So yeah, full speed ahead here. A exchange listings planned, not the biggest exchanges, but really big ones. So there's that. Blockchain integrations planned. One is pretty much ready. Very popular blockchain right now, and with more to come this year. I will also be writing something called CEO letters. So I'll be doing sporadic Medium posts on different topics. Once a quarter, I'll do a summary of PARSIQ about what we've accomplished this quarter and what are the plans going forward, and some pieces on the industry in general and my personal experience, how the blockchain data space has evolved and what's PARSIQ's place in it, and other topics. So yeah, hope you'll find some interesting content. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Today I'll have to. I know there's two more questions, but today I'll have to jump off a bit earlier. So feel free to post any questions to the PARSIQ team. They will collect them, and I will cover them either in the next AMA or in Telegram at some point. And for the next ones, also let me know who you want to have with me, whether it's a team member or maybe you'd like to have one of our partners, one of the PARSIQ partners, or someone else from the PARSIQ ecosystem on board. on the AMA, and yeah, let's do the Anatoly session pretty soon. So thank you guys. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and have a great evening, day. Bye.